West Virginia finally gets off the Big 12 schneid and gets their first victory in Big 12 play in college hoops. Can they get back-to-back wins as they get ready for Texas to come into Morgantown? Hang around and we'll discuss both of those things right after the intro. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Hoops from the Hills, your go-to channel for college hoops with a heavy dose of West Virginia Mountaineers. This is Couz. Most of you may know me from Couz's Corner, my football channel. I ask that you please go check me out there. But before you do that, though, please subscribe to us right here at Hoops from the Hills. My partner, Mountaineer Paul, could not be here with me on this one. Our schedules just did not work out to do this, but I wanted to get this content out and wanted to recap their West Virginia's win over TCU, even though it's a couple days late. I understand, but in the same token, I also wanted to preview the upcoming game against the Texas Longhorns. So I figured, why not just do that in one video? So that's what I'm doing here. So, like I said, I apologize that this video is a couple days late, but life gets in the way, and I've had some things happen at my house. Had my water heater go out on me. Uh, my daughters had basketball games in the evening, so I just haven't had a lot of time to record. And then at the same time, Paul's schedule and my schedule has kind of been going in different directions. But anyway, let's get on with the show real quick. First, let's recap the TCU win. Big win for the Mountaineers. Matter of fact, it's so big of a win that I'm breaking out the coonskin, baby. That's right, the good old coonskin cap that I only bring out on special occasions. Well, this is a special occasion. West Virginia gets off the schneid, finally gets a Big 12 win. They now sit at 1-5 in Big 12 play and are now ninth place in the Big 12, not last. That being said, let's look at the stats real quick for this game. The team stats first, and then we'll talk about some individual stats, and I'll just give you my general thoughts. Obviously, first thing you look at is field goals. TCU shot 52.4% from the floor. West Virginia was 46.3%. So even though TCU shot better than the Mountaineers still shot the ball much better than they had been in previous games. 3-point percentage, neither team shot the ball very well, but neither team has been shooting the ball well from three. That's not TCU's strength. TCU shot the ball 25% from three, only made 2 3-pointers. West Virginia was 4 out of 15, which is 26.7%. Free throws, TCU 19 of 26, 73%. And here, get this, folks. West Virginia was 20 for 26 from the line, 76.9%. And they made them when they needed to. They made some big free throws down the stretch to pull this game out. Jimmy Bell made some free throws. Kedrian Johnson was 8 for 8 from the line. So just a really, really good performance from the free throw line for the Mountaineers, which they had been struggling to do. Rebounds, 31-18 West Virginia. Big time victory there for Mountaineers. 14-4 on offensive rebounds. So they went back to old school West Virginia basketball, getting missed shots and putting them back in. Now, they didn't shoot a high percentage on those, but anytime you get an offensive rebound, you're also taking a possession away from your opponent. It's not just about scoring the ball all the time. It's also about taking away that extra possession from your opponent. And then assists, 13-8 West Virginia. Steals, 9-8 in favor of TCU. Blocks, 3-3. Total turnovers. West Virginia forced 19 TCU turnovers. West Virginia turned it over 15 times. Still too many for West Virginia to have. They need to take better care of the basketball. But forcing 19 is good on the defensive end. And then fouls was 24-17. TCU had the most. Largest lead. TCU did lead this game by 2 at one time. West Virginia led by as many as 18. Now, that 18-point lead, though, did shrink down to 2 at one point in the second half. I think it was 62-60. TCU did go on a run in the second half. And as a West Virginia fan, I couldn't help but think, here we go again. They're going to blow another lead. But they didn't do it this time, guys. They did not blow the lead this time. They stepped up. They made their free throws. They made shots when they needed to make shots, and they won the basketball game. And I was really thrilled with how they played overall. They put out great effort. Just a really good performance overall. Some of the top individual performances in this game, obviously, I mentioned Kedrian Johnson earlier. He was 8 for 8 from the free throw line, which was a big deal. He ended up with 20 points in the game. Jimmy Bell, great dominant performance by Jimmy Bell Jr. Played 28 minutes, was 5 of 6 from the free throw line, pulled down 12 rebounds and had 15 points. Absolute domination in the middle. He said in his post-game press conference he was getting text messages from people talking about how Lampkin, the big man on the other team for TCU, was one of the best bigs in the Big 12, and he got tired of hearing it, and he took it personal, and he came out and played. I don't even know if it's arguable the best game of his career as a Mountaineer. Trey Mitchell, a little bit of an off night, only 6 points, and only 6 points, 4 rebounds for Trey. Emmett Matthews had 10 points. I mentioned Kedrian Johnson's 20 points. Eric Stevenson had 9 points. Did make a couple shots early, so I thought this might be a breakout game for Eric, but he ended up shooting 3 for 10 from the floor overall, and 1 for 5 from 3-point range. So he's still not shooting the ball like he was. But let's not forget, folks, Eric Stevenson has been under the weather and has been having some health issues. Uh, so hopefully he's starting. He did look like he had a little bit more bounce in his step this game than he had in previous games. So hopefully he's coming around and getting better. I thought Mo McGee gave him some quality minutes. Scored 5 points, pulled down 4 rebounds, brought a lot of energy out there. Joe Toussaint, 7 points, 3 assists, so he had a pretty decent game as well. Didn't shoot the ball real well, but played well defensively. Leading scorer for TCU, no big surprise, Mike Miles Jr., one of the best players in the country, 21 points. Damian Bow, or Bo, however you pronounce it, he poured in 13 points. So he had a good night. And then Miller also had 13 points for TCU. Top rebounder on the night for TCU was Miller as well. He had 5 rebounds. So TCU's a good basketball team. I felt like West Virginia took away what they like to do, which is play transition, and just really take them out of what they like to do. And I felt like it worked. They were able to, West Virginia, instead of setting for 3-pointers, they were trying to get the ball inside in the paint, and they did that pretty successfully. Like I said earlier, Jimmy Bell had 15 points, and that's because they kept feeding him the basketball, and he did a really good job asserting his will down there in the paint. And by the way, Lampkin, the big man for TCU, who many said was the best big in the Big 12, only had 5 points. 5 points and 3 rebounds. So Jimmy Bell absolutely dominated that matchup between those two guys. So can they get on a run here and be more competitive in the Big 12 more than what they have been early on? They've got to keep it rolling. And can they do that? And the next man up is the Texas Longhorns. The Texas game will be played Saturday, which is tomorrow from the time I'm recording this video, at 6:00 p.m. and will air on ESPN. Texas comes into the game 15-3 overall, ranked number 7 in the country, 4-2 in the Big 12. West Virginia is 11-7 overall, 1-5 in the Big 12, and obviously they are not ranked. ESPN actually has West Virginia favored in this game slightly, with a 51.8% chance to win. Texas had 48.2% chance to win. And, of course, the Vegas odds have not been set yet. They usually come out the day of the game, Tim. But when you look at some of the key players in this game, obviously for West Virginia, Eric Stevenson, in my opinion, needs to hopefully this will be a breakout game for him. They really need him to step up and start scoring the ball a little more. Like I said earlier, he has been sick. As he gets better and starts feeling better, he'll start playing better as well. Right now, he's still averaging 13.2 points a game, shooting the ball 45.7%, 73% from the line. Best player for Texas, Marcus Carr. Marcus Carr's averaging 17.1 points per game, which is 6th in the Big 12, shooting at 45% from the floor and 81% from the foul line. And, oh, by the way, he's also shooting 41% from 3. So Marcus Carr can beat you in a lot of different ways. He also leads the team in assists at 4.3 a game and is forcing almost 2 steals a game. So this guy is a really key player for this Texas team and probably their best all-around player. So it's going to be key for West Virginia to limit him. Now, he's the one guy you need to run him off the three-point line because he can burn you deep. But as for the rest of the team doesn't shoot the ball very well from 3. So one of the keys to this game, which I'll get to later, is West Virginia needs to try to force Texas to beat them from 3, in my opinion, because Texas gets most of their points from inside the three-point line, at least as a team they do. Now, back to West Virginia, though, other key players for them, you've got Jimmy Bell Jr., had a double-double the last game against TCU. He's got his work cut out for him in this one, having to face Timmy Allen. Timmy Allen's the leading rebounder for Texas, who's pulling down 5.5 boards a game. And, oh, by the way, he also averages almost 11 points a game. Now, they've also got Tyrese Hunter to contend with. We all remember Tyrese Hunter, star rookie at Iowa State, has now transferred to Texas. He's averaging over 10 points a game as well at the guard spot. So West Virginia's got their work cut out for him there, dealing with Tyrese Hunter as well. Jimmy Bell's got, his tough task ahead of him against Timmy Allen. Jimmy Bell, his stats, he's averaging 6.1 rebounds a game, which leads the Mountaineers. So it should be an interesting battle between Allen and Bell down low. Of course, we all remember Timmy Allen is the brother of former Mountaineer Teddy Allen. Now, we take a look at some key team stats here, which I'll pull up on the screen for you. Obviously, points per game. Texas is scoring 80.7 points a game. West Virginia is scoring 77.9 a game. Points against, Texas giving up 66.7. West Virginia giving up just a little more, 69.2. Field goal percentage, Texas shooting the ball at 48.2% from the floor. West Virginia, 46.9. Rebounds per game, Texas is pulling down 36 a game. West Virginia, 34.4. Assists per game, Texas is 16.9. Texas has a really good assist to turnover ratio, uh, about 17 to 12, and they pass the ball really, really well. They do really good at getting out in transition. Matter of fact, they're the top transition offensive team in the Big 12. So West Virginia's going to have to stop their transition baskets. Have about 17 assists a game. West Virginia only gets about 14 a game. Blocks per game, Texas leads that as well, 4.3 to 2.7. Steals per game, 7.9 a game for Texas, 6.6 a game for the Mountaineers. And Texas, of course, lost their last game against the Cyclones, and West Virginia beat the TCU Horned Frogs. Now, when you look at my keys to victory for West Virginia needs to try to force Texas to beat them from the three-point line, except for Marcus Carr. They cannot give Marcus Carr open three-pointers because he will bury them. He will nail you from the three-point range. The other players, not so much. They need to win the rebounding battle. Texas, last in the Big 12 in offensive rebounding. That should bode well for the Mountaineers because the Mountaineers are I think they're fourth in the league in offensive rebounding, and their last outing against TCU was their best of the season, I think, at least since they started Big 12 play. They did a really good job on the offensive glass. They need to continue that against Texas. But Texas does rebound the ball well defensively. But there again, if West Virginia can rebound the ball well offensively, that should negate Texas's defensive rebounding ability. And Texas more than likely will not offensive rebound the ball well. So West Virginia should be able to win the rebounding battle in this game. With that will limit Texas's possessions. They won't be able to get out in transition as much and won't be able to get those assisted baskets and those easy baskets as much. Also, West Virginia's got to make their free throws. Both of these teams put their opponents on the foul line a lot. So West Virginia should get chances to score from the foul line. If they need to continue their hot shooting like they did in the last game against TCU, where like I said earlier, they shot over 76%. They need to continue that this game. Okay? And then that'll be key. But Texas will probably get at the line a lot too. So West Virginia needs to try to limit their fouls, not foul Texas as much. But you better be prepared, basketball fans. This could be one of those games where the referees blow the whistle a lot, and it could be a very slow-paced game, because we could see a lot of foul shots. I actually like this matchup for West Virginia. I think this is a good matchup. And if I had to give a score prediction for this game, I think West Virginia needs to keep this game in the 70s to have a better shot to win. I think they can. I think ultimately they pull out a close one. I think they win the game 78-75. West Virginia wins the game by 3, 78-75. They hold Texas under their 80.7 average. Now, with that being said, Mountaineer fans, let me know, what do you think West Virginia needs to do to win this game? And do you think West Virginia does win this game? I want to hear your thoughts. Leave your score prediction for me in the comment section below. Also, please don't forget to like the video. Give me the thumbs up if you like this video. Please share it out with your college hoops loving friends, especially if they're West Virginia or Texas fans. Subscribe. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Hoops from the Hills here. Me and my friend Mountaineer Paul, we're trying to get this channel up to 1,000. So help us get there, folks. With that being said, I really appreciate your support here at Hoops from the Hills. Thanks for tuning in, and until the next video, I'm out.